Take a close look at this ping pong ball. It is caught in a high-speed, chaotic updraft, yet it remains perfectly still. We expect the wind to violently throw the ball aside. Instead, the very force we think should destroy its stability is what keeps it trapped in this delicate state of suspension. Staying steady in an environment like this isn't about being heavy or bracing for impact. It requires a different kind of resilience, one that relies on a hidden mechanism in the air itself. Survival in a high-velocity system is determined by invisible pressure dynamics. It's about how an object interacts with the flow, rather than how hard it tries to resist it. Consider a different scenario. Two parallel sheets of paper hanging just an inch apart. If you blow a fast stream of air directly into the gap between them, your intuition says the air will push the sheets apart, but the reality is the opposite. That high-speed air acts like a vacuum, pulling the two surfaces together until they touch. This happens because of a foundational rule of fluid dynamics. As the velocity of a moving fluid increases, the pressure it exerts on its surroundings decreases. This inverse relationship challenges our basic assumption that faster movement always results in more aggressive outward force. Scientists call this phenomenon Bernoulli's law. It isn't a suggestion, it's a strict rule of energy conservation. Within any flowing system, the total amount of energy must remain constant. This diagram shows how energy is divided in a pipe. You have kinetic energy, the speed of the blue fluid, and static pressure, the internal force pushing outward. Reaching a narrow bottleneck, the fluid speeds up. Kinetic energy spikes, visualized by lengthening gold arrows. To pay for this speed, the fluid sacrifices something. The internal static pressure drops instantly. Every increase in forward velocity requires a mandatory sacrifice of internal pressure. The system must maintain its equilibrium. This law of conservation is the physical engine behind human flight. An airplane wing is designed with an asymmetrical curve. The air traveling over the top of the wing has to cover a longer distance than the air moving across the flat bottom. The air on top must accelerate. As it speeds up, its pressure drops, creating a blue zone of low pressure above the wing. Beneath, the air remains slow and calm, retaining high internal pressure, a dense orange zone pushing upward. Lift is the inevitable result of this difference. The high-pressure air below naturally pushes up toward the low-pressure void above. The wing doesn't choose to fly. It is lifted by the interaction between its high-speed surface and its high-pressure base. This physical mechanism shows that upward momentum is a product of structural balance, a system that coordinates rapid action with a steady, supportive foundation. You can see this trade-off every time you use a garden hose. By pinching the end, you force the water into a high-speed spray. We see the intensity of the water arching through the air and assume the pressure inside that pinch tip must be enormous. Bernoulli's law tells us the opposite is true. Because the water is moving at its maximum velocity at that bottleneck, the internal pressure at that specific point is at its lowest. High impact output does not mean high internal stress. In many flowing systems, the faster the movement, the lower the internal burden. Bernoulli's law is an observation of a world in constant motion, where every gain in speed is balanced by a shift in pressure. When life accelerates and the pace of our environment increases, the resulting drop in internal pressure isn't a failure to keep up. It is the physics of the flow. By accepting this trade-off between external speed and internal state, we find the equilibrium that allows us to stay aloft.